Hi and welcome to a new video. So this video might be a little bit different. I want to talk about how I am switching a lot into iPad for my music production stuff because it's just awesome. I feel like I'm discovering a new world. Like some time ago I knew about iPad music production. It's not that I didn't even know that it existed, but I never committed to actually explore it. I remember I downloaded Loopy Pro because it seemed pretty cool, but I never fully committed to it. But the other day I got this comment and I thought, I'm just gonna give it a try. Not specifically to that application, but just the iPad in general. And the more I use it, the more I think, man, like why do even people buy groove boxes? I get the point that the physical buttons and all of that is cool, but there are such a good applications in iPad and they only cost like 20 bucks. So let me tell you what you actually need to get started in iPad, because if you don't want to break the bank and you just want to get started making beats or looping or even producing, you're gonna need a couple of things, and that's what we are gonna see in this video. So bear with me. USB dongles. Apple, I hate you. I don't like that we need to use these things, but it is what it is. I have so many and I have encountered a lot of issues with different ones. And one that always never let me down is this one. It's a Acer and it just works, man. It's got 3 USB-A ports. That's good enough to connect an audio interface. It's got a jack, 3.5 millimeters. That's also good if you don't want to plug any audio interface. We'll get to that. And it's got charging, and it charges the iPad, I think, at full speed. It doesn't matter what I plug to it, it charges pretty fast when I connect this dongle. When you use all the dongles, sometimes it doesn't charge as fast. It doesn't recognize some USB devices. These two sometimes have issues. Just try to find one dongle that works for you and don't cheap out on that, because it might be a real big pain in the ass if you don't get that right. So this dongle works for me pretty good. I'm sure there are so many, and let me know down in the comments if you find something that might be better than this one. There are some audio interface like the Arturia Mini Fuse 4 that has USB sticks, and that can be considered as a USB dongle, but the problem is that you can't charge iPads, and believe me, you're gonna want to charge it because sometimes you can do like very long sessions. So if you don't care about that, maybe you can go for something like the Audio Fuse 4, but if you want to charge the iPad, you're gonna need one of these guys. When it comes to audio interfaces, you're gonna want something that, depending on what you do, has a couple of inputs, couple of outputs. But I'm just loving this one, because when I'm using the iPad, I just want something that is small as possible. Footprint that it can take, and this is like quite small. This is a Zoom AMS44 and it's got 4 inputs. That's plenty. I'm using 2 most of the times, but it's good if I'm gonna connect a microphone, a guitar and a drum machine. It will be something like microphone, guitar and the drum machine, because these 2 can be a stereo input. I'm just loving this interface, and it's got many little features that can be very interesting sometimes, such as it can run on batteries. It's got, of course, phantom power, direct monitor, so if you want to monitor whatever you're playing, and it's got loopback, meaning that the output of the interface is going back into inputs 1 and 2. And it's got this little switch that goes from music to streaming, and what this does is to optimize the interface from music to streaming. And when you are in music, you can use the 4 inputs individually, but when you are into streaming, then you only have 2. You can use the 4 of them, but the software will only see 2, which is a stereo mix of whatever you're playing into this. Very good interface. That's my choice for iPad because I want to keep it small, but again, that is a very personal choice, and depending on whatever you need to play and whatever you want to do, then you might need a different one. But just bear in mind, this one is pretty good. Of course, if you're gonna make iPad music, you're gonna need an iPad. And my choice, or at least the one I have, is a N1 Pro. I got a very good offer, and it's a 2 terabytes one, but the price is just ridiculous. For music, it doesn't take that much space, so if you're not gonna use any video editing or something like that, you can be good with 128 or 256. But this is just a monster. It's an N1, and it can run anything that I throw at it. I think the current generation is like M4 or M5, I don't even know. But just know that if you're gonna get an iPad, just try that it's a M series, because some of the apps require that in order to run properly, so just bear that in mind. And I will go with one of the newer generations, even though you only have the USB input, you don't have any 3.5 millimeters audio out. I think it's just worth it to go with the newer generations ones, because you're gonna buy for like a longer time. When it comes to software, to me there are like 3 categories that we can consider. One is looping software, so like performance software, and that's the key for me is hands down Loopy Pro. You can do whatever you want with it. It's like a modular software where you can build your own templates for looping, and there are great tutorials out there, and that will teach you much better than me how to use it. Just know that Loopy Pro is an amazing performance software that is iPad based. Then if you're more into like groove boxes kind of thing, you know, I'm a sucker for Ableton Move on Ableton Note, so that's something you can also run in the iPad. So that will be my recommendation if you are able to use it. If you use any other software, you might want to go with Drumbo, and there are many other groove boxes. Let me know down in the comments if you want a video about music making apps. I just want to focus this video on the hardware kind of things. And then if you want to just produce, if you want to substitute for your computer, you can go for Logic Pro for iPad, which is a very nice application. And let's see now how we can connect everything, what the footprint looks like. Let's go. As you know, the iPad only has one USB port, so everything needs to be connected to the USB dongle before you connect it to the iPad. When I use the iPad, I mostly use it for looping, because I just rather produce on Ableton. But when I use it for looping, I like to have Clip Launcher, and for that I normally use a Launchpad NK3. It's a very nice controller, and it's got so many other functions. I also like to have like a piano kind of thing to control chords, and I also like to have a kind of a drum machine just to, you know, play drums, and not to have everything running on the iPad. So that is pretty much my basic go-to iPad setup, but I know that depending on whatever you want to do, you can like change things a lot. And if you would like to see more of these videos, just let me know down in the comments, and I will make like a more exhaustive breakdown on different iPad setup that you can use for like looping or whatever. So thank you very much for watching, and if you haven't already, you can subscribe to my channel. That's all. Peace. Bye.